And just welcome to Just Football with Matt Emch. Sorry, everybody. I am excited. Today is the first season opener of Just Football with Matt Emch, brought to you by Tri County Digital Broadcasting. We have a great show for you guys tonight. We're going to open up and go right into it. We have Brian Shaner, the new head coach of the Jackson Milton Blue Jays, who is going to join us in 1 second. Hey, coach, how are you?
Good. How you doing, man?
Welcome to the show. It's good to see you. You look great. I haven't seen you in a while. How are things with Jackson Milton? How is it being at a new program?
We're enjoying ourselves. We got some great kids, great coaching staff, great community. Again, we are enjoying ourselves. It's football, man. Small school football, and it's a roller coaster of emotions each and every day. But we're doing really well.
Excellent, excellent. So, getting right into again, taking over the program. You have obviously a lot of guys that you brought with you. So, tell me real quick about the staff that you have there.
I was lucky to bring a lot of my guys with me. We know I lost Coach Allen. He's over at Harding doing his thing over
Hmm.
there, and he's a
Yeah.
brother of mine. But I was lucky enough to get Coach Marsco to come over and do our defense. Coach Calderon has always been a right hand man with me, no matter where I put him. Coach Blazino on the O line. He's been with me, for a while now, and he's one of the best going. Coach Hogue was at Falls. He came over doing a really, really good job. Coach Riley, he's with me at Ridge, and he came over. And Coach G was there last year. So I got a really good staff, guys that are really loyal to our kids, and they do a real good job for us. And again, loyalty to me is the key to the whole thing. And these guys are
Hmm.
really loyal to the program.
Excellent. So, jumping right into this week, a huge game. You guys are undefeated. Congratulations. You guys are opening up with league play, which is so important. The Rams are 2-1. As I said, you're 3-0. Tell me a little bit about how you guys think that you match up with this team at Mineral Ridge.
Well, one thing we struggle to match up with is numbers. They got
Mhm.
an army of players over there.
Yeah, they do.
The message is they got to put 11 out, just like we have to put 11 guys out on the field. And I can be honest. I don't know how we're going to match up because we haven't played a full real game of football yet. It's like we'll play a half of mediocre ball, then we'll play a really good half of football, then we'll play a quarter, and then another quarter. We just can't find ourselves consistently playing good football. So it's our challenge. If we put a game together where we play our brand of football for 4 quarters, it's going to be a really good football game. And again, that's on us, and I don't shy away from it. I think if we fix us and we play consistent, we play how we're coached to play, it's going to be a really good game.
So offensively, looking at the Ridge Rams, what do you think you guys have to do to slow that offense down?
We have to be physical. We have to master physicality because they do. They want to punch you in the mouth. They have a very physical brand of football. They come right at you. They don't shy away from it. So we have to be able to stand in the middle of a ring with them and take those body blows that they send at you and give them right back. You can't back down against a team like that wants to run power and they want to come right at your face. Our guys know that. They know we have to be ready for that kind of game this Friday. And
Right.
again, I wish I could tell you right now. I know we're up to that challenge. I want to believe we are. But again, we haven't been that consistent enough for me to tell you that we're going to be able to stand in a ring in a heavyweight fight. But we know what they're going to do, and we got to be willing to stand there and take it and give it.
Looking at the other side of the ball, where do you see your strengths offensively, and what you think if you do your job, obviously offensively, how you can attack that defense?
See, that's the key. We'll have great drives, and we'll have 3 holding calls or a false start call. Or I think our inconsistencies more on the offensive side. I think Coach Marsco has our defense playing very sound. I think we tackle pretty well. We run to the ball pretty well, but on offense, myself in particular, I got to do a better job of cleaning up the offense. We just have too many drive stalling penalties, too many, whether it's a drop pass, whether it's a miscue on a read. I really had to kind of zone in this week and get better at the little things. So hopefully it worked, and we go out and we perform a little bit better on offense.
Well, getting, I won't spend too much time on it, but I've got to, touch on my favorite part, my brethren, the offensive and defensive lines. Ridge, I've had the opportunity to see them for 3 games, and, they have some big boys up on both sides. How do you think you guys match up with the Rams?
They're big. They're big. They're physical. They play a brand of football, and I think we're big. I think we have potential to be physical. How consistent are we? We're going to see Friday. The challenge is out there. People want to say you're 3-0. I don't know if we feel like we're 3-0. I think we have a real test in front of us. I think we're going to see what kind of football team we have on Friday. But again, if we play our style of football, how we see JM, I think we're going to be right in this one, and we can match them physically.
It's going to be a really exciting game. Again, opening up league play is just, that's when the real serious games start taking place. Coach, if you could talk to all of the Blue Jay faithful, what would you say to them about Friday's game?
Well, number one, I'd like to thank them for taking me in with open arms and supporting this football team. And the way they've come out the first 3 weeks, it's been exciting. I just say come out, support the boys. This is a big game. It's league play. It ain't because it's Ridge. It's not. It's league play. And when you set high goals and high expectations and things you want to do, it should always come back to the league. And there's a lot of parity in the league this year. There's a lot of teams fighting to get to the top, and it starts with this first league game, and it just happens to be Ridge, and we have to be willing to go in on the road and play in that kind of a hostile environment and play well.
All right. Well, coach, good luck on Friday. We'll see you there. We're calling the game, obviously, and it'll be really exciting. Have a great night, coach.
Oh, you too. Appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. That is Brian Shaner, the head coach of the Jackson Milton Blue Jays. We wish him the best of luck for Friday. And coming up just in a couple minutes, guys, we're going to have Steve Arnold, local legend, has coached so many programs, but specifically one, and it's a good time to bring him on. He's a great friend of mine. I can't wait to have him. We'll see you after the break, everybody.
There are things in this world that we cannot understand, things we thought were myth, mysteries that defy reality, and even darker conspiracies. What Lurks Beneath, will take you deep into real cases and accounts of the strange and supernatural that will leave you wondering the truth about what's truly around us. You won't want to miss this one.
Looking for an electrician you can trust? For over 49 years, W.T. Leone's Tri-Area Electric Company, Inc. has proudly served Mahoning, Trumbull, Columbiana, Mercer, and Lawrence counties. We're family and locally owned, offering free estimates, and we're fully bonded and insured. Whether it's commercial, residential, or industrial, our team has got you covered day or night with 24-hour emergency service. Call us today at 330-744-0151 or visit triareaelectric.com. That's Tri-Area Electric, keeping your home and business powered safely since 1976. And welcome back to Just Football with Matt Emch, brought to you by Tri County Digital Broadcasting. We are going to bring a great friend of mine and a local legend into the studio. Coach Steve Arnold, how are you?
I am doing well, my friend. How are you doing?
Wonderful. I'm so happy that you could join us today. I see you're outside. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah, I
So
was kind of cleaning off my deck a little bit, and beautiful evening, and just relaxing a little bit with my dog. So if you hear him bark a little bit, man, that's my dog Luca.
no problem. I have my dog Hadley, who is definitely, she's vocal. So she might do it too if she sees her nemesis, the squirrel, or another dog outside.
Right,
So
right.
Coach, let everybody who might be new, we have people that come by from other parts of the country that they might not be familiar with you. If you could just give me a little quick little bio of who you are, what's going on right now with you, Coach.
Well, man, you know what? Been in the area long time, Matt. Coached in Warren City schools,
Hmm.
38 years, 37 years or so. Um, Basketball, 10 years. Football, 12. Was an assistant in basketball and football before then in Warren City schools, and then retired in 2023. A buddy, I'm kind of uh, going quick here. My buddy Todd Smith, who was on my staff at Harding, is now currently the AD at Liberty, called me about a year ago, about a year ago now, and I was probably sitting in this same chair on my deck and said he needed someone to coach his basketball team because the gentleman he had hired had quit, resigned. And I contemplated for a while, Matt, and after about 3 weeks of going round and round, I told him I would do it for a year. And but I'm going into my second year. I plan to be up in Ann Arbor now, working in a recruiting office with the University of Michigan football team. But I got some health issues with my vision and couldn't go. So, but I'm enjoying my time at Liberty right now.
Awesome. Well, they have a lot of new things going on there. You got Coach Prologo over there at the football program.
He's doing a
Uh,
great job. Kids are doing a great job.
He really is. This is about you, but I'm friends with Coach, and I called a lot of JFK games when he was there, and
Right.
I was one of the people that was actually very unhappy with the choice that was made when they let him go. As you know, grass isn't always greener on the other side when you get rid of guys, and they only had a coach there that took them to two state championships, and that wasn't good enough. So uh, they're struggling, and he's doing a great job. So Liberty is lucky to have him and lucky to have you. I'm really excited to hear that. Um, you know, you and I sat down in the wintertime and we talked about a lot of things, but I wanted to kind of go over some of those here up here live with us on the screen. You, as you mentioned, have been around in the area for a long time. You've touched a lot of lives. And
Hmm.
that's, my next question. When you obviously were at Harding, you touched the most and had the most impact on lives. First, what did it mean to you to spend that many years at Warren Harding and, have that relationship with so many young men?
It was a blessing, Matt, to be able. I mean, the longest tenured coach in Warren history. Um, there was trials and tribulations. There was no doubt about that. There were stressful times, but there were more great times and good times than bad times. And I'm not even going to say bad times. Just times that you have ups and downs as a head coach. And if you coach long enough, you're going to have ups and downs. You're not going to stay on the top, and you're not going to remain on the bottom. You're going to have it's going to be a roller coaster ride if you coach as many years as I was blessed to coach. And so it's ironic that you mentioned that. So yesterday, no, Monday, in my mailbox over at Liberty, I get some mail, man, and it's from Eastern Michigan football, and I look at it, and it has Eastern Michigan football, and then Marco Paterno. Marco played for me in 2019, 20. I can't remember. You get old, you forget the years. You coach so
Hmm.
many kids. But he sent me a card just thanking me for being his coach in high school. And Marco had moved up here from North Carolina during the COVID year and played with us during the COVID year. And he was at Elon down in North Carolina for a couple years. And, with this portal thing, he transferred up to Eastern Michigan and doing well. But just out of the blue, I get this thank you card from Marco. So that's why you coach, Matt. For
Hmm.
things like that, that's why you coach.
Absolutely. I mean, that is phenomenal. I love hearing that. Sticking with, you know, people that, you had an effect on their lives and also people that had an effect on yours. How about we just, obviously you can't point them all out and
Yeah,
name everybody, but how about before we go to some of those players, how about coaches that you've been with through the years? Let's put them all together and just pretend it's one person. What do you want to say about those guys?
oh man, you know what? A head coach is only as good as his assistants, man.
Hmm.
Um, I could say it. Being a veteran coach, probably one of the, I don't know if it's the one of the most tenured coaches in the area. You know, I guess I get upset. I can't speak for anybody else. When you have these young coaches come in and they think they just did it all themselves, and so um, you're only as good as your head coaches, and good talent makes you a good coach.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, you have to mold it and cultivate it and all those things. But when you have talent and when you have coaches, assistant coaches that would adhere to what you want to do, your vision, that's what make you a good and successful head coach. And the two, there's three. Like I'm in the process of writing a book right now, Matt,
Oh
and
yeah.
hopefully by Christmas it'll be finished. I have my author is in Florida, and so he's writing it for me, doing a great job. But we're about 9 chapters through. But obviously, I paid homage to Coach Annarella, who gave me a start in coaching.
Hmm.
Coach Buba, Frank Buba, um, Bill Kovac, my high school coach, who I learned a great deal from. Gary Barber, who hired me on um, his staff when he came over from Girard to Harding in 97, I think it was, 97, 98. So, those are the guys that kind of stick out, local guys that hired me as coaches, as a young assistant coach.
Awesome. And just real quick on the book, I hope I can get a signed copy of that when
You
that
know
comes
that.
out.
You
Awesome.
will. And I can't like single out assistant coaches, but I want to, like, my assistant coaches have been great that I've had over my years.
Hmm.
But like Richie Chapman, who was my varsity assistant over at Harding in basketball, Dale Blaney, Chris Fonders, those guys are great. Greg Jackson, Mike Mitchell, and Kim Johnson over at basketball and football. Obviously, I've had more in football. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Because that kind of changed every year a little bit. You get 2 and 3 coaches, and you got 10 guys on your staff. But the majority of my assistant coaches in football were great. You had some, to be truthful, that weren't so great. Not in their coaching ability, but just sometimes in their work ethic. And
Hmm.
what I wanted. But overall, everything was good.
Good. Awesome. That's what I want to hear. Now, touching on, the players, they're every player obviously has a special place in your
Sure.
heart. But if you could point out some that really, looking back on, had really put their foot down and had amazing careers, who are some of those players that you could say, I did my job the right way with?
Boy, I mean, you know, For me, sticking out, two very good football players, but better, I'm gonna say, grown men right now.
Hmm.
Um, is the Daniels brothers, James and LaShawn, two terrific young men. Um, if I mean, I don't have enough words, no, enough adjectives to describe those two young men. So James and LaShawn Daniels were great. Man, K. Adams in football, um, talented. Lynn Bolden, probably one of the most talented kids I coached in football.
Hmm.
Um, I got a text from Yelda Froholt, a kid that we were able to get as a foreign exchange student my first year, who ended up playing at Arkansas. He's with the Arizona Cardinals right now. Just got a text message from him thanking me, for what I did, and um, I can go on and on in basketball. Desmar Jackson is probably the best basketball player I coached. Just his all-around skill, but Jesse Hart, who I'm so proud of, head coach at Niles, Keelan Franklin, head coach at Harding, guys that you coached and you're able to tutor and mentor, and you see those guys as head coaches. Damian Ergel. I mean, man, I got to stop because I don't want to leave anybody out because I've been blessed to coach so many, man.
Right, right. I know. I understand. Um, Looking at your career and everything that you've been through and everything that you've done, when you get to that time of your life when we all move on to another. Oh, I lost coach for a second. There you are. Lost you for a sec. Can you hear me, coach?
You still there, Matt?
Yep. Can you hear me? Coach, can you hear me? Can you hear me, coach? Uh-oh. You can't hear me. Let's do this, everybody. Let's take a quick break, everybody, and we will be right back.
There are things in this world that we cannot understand, things we thought were myth, mysteries that defy reality, and even darker conspiracies. What Lurks Beneath will take you deep into real cases and accounts of the strange and supernatural that will leave you wondering the truth about what's truly around us. You won't want to miss this one.
Looking for an electrician you can trust? For over 49 years, W.T. Leone's Tri-Area Electric Company Inc. has proudly served Mahoning, Trumbull, Columbiana, Mercer, and Lawrence counties. We're family and locally owned, offering free estimates, and we're fully bonded and insured. Whether it's commercial, residential, or industrial, our team has got you covered day or night with 24-hour emergency service. Call us today at 330-744-0151 or visit triareaelectric.com. That's Tri-Area Electric, keeping your home and business powered safely since 1976. And we are back, everybody. We're going to bring Coach back on. Hopefully, he has a signal again. Hey, Coach, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Matt. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yes, sir,
Okay.
I
Sorry about
can.
that, buddy. Sorry
No,
about that.
no, that's not your fault. Something you're outside. Sometimes that happens. People in the live stream just have to pop back out, pop
Okay.
back in, and it connects you. Getting back to my question, like I was saying, um, you know, before we move on to that next part of our existence,
Sure.
if you're sitting there and you are thinking about everything that you've done in your life and everybody that has been a part of your life, um, what do you think you would think about the life that you've had? I know it's hard to answer that at the moment, but if you kind of put yourself in that future self, what do you think you would think and say?
Um, Heck, you want me to give my eulogy right now?
No, just think about,
You know
what
what?
you've done.
I just think that I touched a lot of lives in reference to young adults, our adolescents. God put me here to, for a reason. And I think for the most part, I did what He would have had me to do, being able to touch a lot of lives. Um, and people have touched my lives, they reciprocated that, Matt. So, um, I've done, I tried to use the gift that God gave me.
Hmm.
And, and I remember years ago, Matt, and it's ironic, and this is going in my book when I had brought Mrs. Lonice Bias, the mother of Lynn Bias, to Warren a couple of times, and she spoke at our banquet. And I remember the one time I had taken her back to the airport, and she told me, she hugged me, and she said, and this was before I became a head coach.
Hmm.
She said, Steve, God has favor over your life with young people, and I didn't know what that meant, man. And 40 plus years later, I've been coaching and dealing and having dealings with young people. So I've tried to do what I can do in the process. Everything wasn't smooth sailing, but I think I've been a trailblazer, and being the first African American head coach in Warren history,
Hmm.
and in both sports. And I think that's enabled other school districts to hire, African Americans. So um, I think I've done some good work, man. And you know what? And I'm still plugging along.
You are absolutely. We have actually some people in the chat that had a couple questions for you. So
Yes.
I'm going to pull that up. First of all, Logan Arnold wants to ask, is there really a book of plays? Now, obviously, we got playbooks, but I think he's asking, is there like a book that has like a specific group of them out there that each coach has?
I mean, I would say yes and no, Logan, because everybody has their own philosophy, offensively, defensively, of what it may be. But coaching again, offensively and defensively, it's a copycat. Those are copycat sports. When you see someone doing something well, and then you try to do it yourself, but the old adage is, you need players to do some things. It ain't the
Hmm.
X's and O's, it's the Jimmys and Jones. And so yeah, I mean, I would say yes and no, Logan, in reference to that.
He also asked, and you can see them pop up on the screen, can a coach tell if a player will make it far like the NFL?
Hmm. Well, there's a lot of intangibles in that, Logan. Um, like in high school, I mean, we knew that James Daniels was going to play in the NFL, um, because of his work ethic, number one,
Hmm.
his technique. He did all the right things. His lineage, dad played in the NFL. John had a cup of coffee in the NFL. But we knew James was going to play in the NFL. But there's a lot of intangibles, man. You got to be in the right place at the right time. Once you get to that level.
He has another question here. He's drilling you, Coach. Coach Arnold, can you tell if that's the same one? Sorry, he has one more. Let's see here. Where did it go? Uh, I guess that was it. I get the other comment was he had a Oh wait, hold on. Maybe he does. No, that's me. No, he just had another comment. He had just said this to us, which was very nice thing to say. He just said, "God bless Coach and Matt." So,
I want to say
thank
thank
you,
you.
Logan. We
Yeah, thank you.
appreciate you, brother. And coach, let me think. I had one more question for you.
As you're thinking about that, Matt, I would, I'd be remiss if I'm really enjoying my time at Liberty. The kids, I've been working hard. I've been able to institute some things that they have never experienced before. So I'm expecting a very good year from the young man.
Awesome.
It's keeping me young.
I love it. You know what? And that kind of went with my question. I was just going to say, if now obviously you are coaching. Um, he has another question, but what I wanted to say was, how old, coach, would you think about never coaching again? Or would you just keep coaching until you can't physically do it?
I would probably, at this point in my life, I'll be 62 in a month.
You're
Um,
still young,
yeah, I'll do it until I can't physically do it anymore, Matt. And none of us knows when that is,
right?
but I'll do it until I physically can't do it anymore.
I love
Till I
it.
just
That's
say, hey man, I had enough. But right now I'm enjoying it.
well, you get to that point, coach. Come join me in the booth.
I will, buddy. I will.
Logan Arnold has another question for you. I knew he did. It says, "Are coaches allowed to help players who need help?" Obviously, he means getting in trouble, fit like with their regular lives, not on the football team.
Um, I mean, they're allowed. Yeah, sure. Um,
Where would you think you would have to, cut that? I can't help you anymore situation.
well, I mean, you can help as long as you can, but then to continue that, Matt and Logan, is that now as a coach, then I need to seek someone who, once we identify what's going on, I need to seek someone who can continue to help you, because it has to be, there's a line that a coach can only go so far. So then, but in my job, I would seek someone that can help you further, whatever you need help in, assistance in.
I got you. Well, coach, I love you, brother. I'm so happy that you came on today. I'm so psyched to learn that you are coaching also at Liberty. I will definitely be coming and checking you guys out, and I'll be having you on, during the basketball season. So, Coach
Anytime,
Arnold,
buddy.
thank you so much for being here today.
Hey, thank you, my man, and continue good health to you, my man.
Thank you. You as well, Coach. Good
All right,
luck.
all right, take care. Bye bye.
Absolutely. And that is Coach Arnold. Sorry, Logan, he came out. I apologize. I see your question there. Let me pull Coach back in. He's still in the green room. Coach, one more question, and then I'll let you go. Logan threw one more out there. It said, "Is it true that in order to play football, you have to have good grades?" Well, I mean that's self-explanatory.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
you got yeah, Logan. Yeah, you got to have good grades, my man. It's imperative. If you're in high school, um, middle school, you need good grades, and if you have aspirations on going on to the collegiate level,
Hmm.
you have to be what they call a qualifier, my man. There's certain academic standards that you have to meet to be able to go and further your education through the vehicle of athletics to obtain a scholarship.
Yeah, and speaking from someone who got a full scholarship at Youngstown State, you have to not only have good grades in high school. And no, Paula, he just said, I don't know much about football. No apologies, Logan. Ask away. But you also have to take your ACT, which all kids do if they move on to college, but you have to pass it with at least the lowest passing grade. So it's not easy as people think it is for football players. They always think, oh, they're always carried, and no, they're not. You have to work to get the scholarship, and once you get there, it's a lot harder physically, and to be a collegiate student athlete, coach, it is no joke.
No,
Yeah, for sure.
and now it's a business, Matt. It's all a business, especially with the NIL and the transfer portal and all of that. And I would say this, Matt, to Logan. Logan, if you don't know something, do not be afraid to ask. The worst thing you can do is not ask. The way that you find out is to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Absolutely. Well, again, thanks, Coach. Uh, Good luck with the season. I will absolutely be talking to you again.
Okay, take care. Thanks, Matt.
All
Take care.
right, Coach. Thank you. Again, that was Coach Arnold, now the basketball coach over at Liberty High School. We are going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have some of a um, interview I had with defensive coordinator of Warren Harding, Eric Ungaro. And then after that, we are going to have, I think if Coach is free and he hits me up, we're going to have a short hello with Mineral Ridge head coach Andy Hake. And then we are going to, after that, have a roundtable with my partner Matt Lipcsak from high school football, and we're going to have one of our good friends, Jim Craven, who also calls high school football with Coach Bob Gessler at Western Reserve Digital Broadcasting. So we got some great stuff still up here for you guys. We will be right back on Just Football with Matt Emch, brought to you by Tri-County Digital Broadcasting. Planet 412 is your channel through the veil, where cryptids walk, UFOs soar, and the paranormal whispers in the dark. From chilling storytelling, eerie narrations, and on-location investigations, to live streams, exclusive interviews, and shocking reviews of the bizarre, Planet 412 is your front row seat to the supernatural. Subscribe now, Planet 412 on YouTube. Do you believe? Rams feature twirler Amira, you're literally on fire and we love it. Go show them how it's done.
In today's world, video isn't optional, it's essential. At Full Res Films, we bring your story to life with cinematic quality and creative vision. From corporate videos that inspire, to powerful testimonials that build trust, to breathtaking drone footage that elevates your brand. Whether it's live events, training videos, music videos, or documentaries, our team captures every moment. Don't settle for ordinary, choose Full Res Films, and let's create something amazing together. FullResFilms.com, 216-201-9649.
Looking for an electrician you can trust? For over 49 years, W.T. Leone's Tri-Area Electric Company, Inc. has proudly served Mahoning, Trumbull, Columbiana, Mercer, and Lawrence counties. We're family and locally owned, offering free estimates, and we're fully bonded and insured. Whether it's commercial, residential, or industrial, our team has got you covered day or night with 24-hour emergency service. Call us today at 330-744-0151 or visit triareaelectric.com. That's Tri-Area Electric, keeping your home and business powered safely since 1976. Welcome back to Just Football with Matt Emch, brought to you by Tri-County Digital Broadcasting. We are going to play a little of my pre-recorded interview with defensive coordinator Eric Ungaro from the Warren Harding Raiders. And we can't watch the whole thing because I got other people coming on, but here comes Eric Ungaro. Matt Emch, Tri-County Digital Broadcasting, and Just Football with Matt Emch. Here with one of my good friends, defensive coordinator from Warren Harding Raiders, Eric Ungaro. How you doing, E?
Big Matt, what's going on, baby?
We're doing good, doing good. You know, we're excited about the fact that we're starting back with the show today. You're here to open it up with us. You know, fastest 10 weeks in football, and we are already here to week 4. You are new, obviously, last year was your first year at Harding, but second year, this is the first time we've had the opportunity to talk to you here. What do you think going into your second season being at Warren Harding?
Well, I tell you what, obviously it's a process, and as me and the bricks are built one at a time, off
Mhm.
season, weightlifting. So that's what we're trying to get. We were fortunate last year. Really, we had a kid in Chaz Coleman who never played defense in his life, and he was a senior. And we took him on defense. I made him kind of like a Lawrence Taylor type guy for us older people,
Mhm.
inside, outside, sent him from all over. And he's now, he's actually playing a whole lot at Penn State. So, he helped us garner some victories with our senior class. This year, we replaced a lot, and our schedule's real, man. I mean, when you're playing Massillon and Massillon Perry and Canton McKinley, and Ursuline and Mooney, those
Mhm.
are week in and week out. So, we've been right there, but being a young defense, you can't play at 80%. You can't give up one or two long runs and long plays in a game. So, we're finding ourselves, and we'll see how it goes moving forward.
Getting into this week, who do you guys have this week, first
We
of
got
all?
St. We got St. V's up in Akron, and so we got to go there.
Well, obviously a storied program in Akron. St. V's obviously, between you and I and everyone else, has been up and down over the last, let's say, decade. They will pop out on you and have a run type of season for the state championship. What does this team look like right now?
Yeah, they're down. I mean, they got a new head coach. They started. I mean, obviously, it's all cyclical. I mean, like I've been coaching 35 years. They were on top for a while. Then Walsh Jesuit was on top, and then obviously now our buddy Timmy Tiro is over at Hoban, so
Hmm.
they're kind of on top. And with the way football is, with the lack of participation really throughout the whole state, there's only X amount of kids out there, and whoever's getting them is they're the ones on top. And right now, Timmy T's, he's getting them. So Hoban's kind of the cream of the crop, and Walsh seems to be kind of in the middle, and St.
Yep.
V's. They got about 40 kids on the freshman team, so you can see what the guy's doing. He's building for the future.
I'm sure they do have some good athletes, but I agree. Tim has been doing a amazing job. I mean, they're nationally ranked every year. That just to throw this in there, we could talk about this another time. My pick for YSU head coach when Phillips is gone. Let's be honest. I like Coach Phillips, but um, I think it's time for some new blood at YSU, and I'd love to see Timmy there.
Yeah,
Uh,
he was actually in the running last time, though. I know he gave me a ring, and I talked to him about it. Was going to be fortunate to be a little bit a part of it. Not necessarily a coach, but maybe someone who mentors some of the kids. I
mhm.
think Tressel had Mansfield back in the day. Just guys that are good with kids and making sure they're going to class and doing the right thing and things like that. So I could see his name surfacing if there is a change going.
Yeah. Well, Phillips is buddies with Ron Strollo and is a Tressel guy. He was a student coach when I played there, so connections do things, but just not with, again, not getting into the deepness of it. I would love to see him there. Back on to St. V's. So you guys are obviously laden with a lot of talent. Again, what you had said, you guys have a tough schedule. But getting into this group of players, tell me a little bit about this group of seniors. What are they like?
Oh, the seniors are great kids. We had them for a year, very disciplined. We have very few penalties. They worked hard in the off season. I mean, I think the thing is that we lost a lot. Like I'm just speaking defensively.
Mhm.
Uh, we're replacing the whole secondary. I mean, actually, I mean, it's as crazy as it sounds. We're starting two freshmen now. They're talented, but you don't usually hear that coming out of like a Warren Harding.
No.
We're actually starting a sophomore, two freshmen, and really we only have three seniors on the defensive side. And then on the offensive side, only through 3 games, we had 2 of our running backs was actually, they tore their ACLs.
Mm.
And then our quarterback, he just got a lacerated kidney. So,
Oh,
we're
wow.
going, in this day and age, when you lose a couple top tier guys, you just got to replace and move on and not pout about it. So, but our senior class, very, very, just very disciplined, very good kids. Nothing jive, and can't ask for much more.
What does well, and getting into, of course, my favorite part of the football team is the big boys up front, offensively and defensively. We'll mash this question into both of those groups. You can only move so far in a season, especially in Ohio. If you have a good line, you're going to move. If you don't, you're in trouble. How is this group of linemen you guys have?
This was on paper our strength coming into the year, because we played a lot of young kids last year, but then having the advantage of having Chaz kind of at quarterback in some different places, he was able to make things happen. So we're big. We actually got LaShawn Daniels' son. He came back from
Wow.
Maryland, so we have some pedigree there. We got some big guys. Uh, how an offensive line is. You just got to gel, and when you're
Hmm.
playing together, it might take a couple games. So we got Bobby Toast up there, old Urson coach. So we'll make it. They'll get it right on the offensive line.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of good staff there that I know, so that's exciting. How about jump into this question? Looking specifically at what St. V's has, what does their offensive and defensive lines look like this week?
That's where they probably are. A little bit undersized. They're
Hmm.
younger. They're playing some younger kids, so that should be our advantage. They obviously have skill. They have a lot of skill. They got a good quarterback, so they're gonna kind of we got to kind of approach it. You're going to be in a nickel package a lot more. They're going to be throwing
Hmm.
it around, dinking and daubing. But a lot of teams do that. If they're undersized up front, you still got a shot because you can just throw it around a little bit. So we should win the war in the trenches. And we got to just survive the skill set on the outsides with some veteran guys they have. Going up against our young secondary.
So, what type of offense does St. V's run?
They're spread. A
Hmm.
lot of 3-by-1, 2-by-2, stretches, jet sweeps. They're just trying to get the perimeter. So we got to be sound on the edges and withstand any kind of just like quick hitters, be it like a little trap or a little inside zone.
Hmm.
So we got to be sound on the edges this week for sure.
Who is the players? Let's give numbers. If you have names, that's fine. Of the ones you have to really watch out for them offensively.
Really, they're 2 receivers. I think it's 19 and 8.
Hmm.
They're the guys that we really got to focus on. They're the ones that get the ball in space. They're the ones that do a lot of the jet sweeps. And we just got to get pressure on the quarterback so he doesn't have time to direct traffic and get those guys open. So, in my opinion, and our staffs just got to deal with the receivers and just, don't let them get wild.
Okay. And that was Eric Ungaro, the DC defensive coordinator of the Warren Harding Raiders. Guys, we're going to take a 30-second break. When we come back, I have my partner, Matt Lipcsak, and Jim Craven. We'll be right back, everybody.
There are things in this world that we cannot understand, things we thought were myth, mysteries that defy reality, and even darker conspiracies. What Lurks Beneath will take you deep into real cases and accounts of the strange and supernatural that will leave you wondering the truth about what's truly around us. You won't want to miss this one.
And welcome back to Just Football. I'm Matt Emch, brought to you by Trumbull or Tri County Digital Broadcasting. Sorry, I'm looking at the guys below me, and I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to bring on my guys. How you guys doing? We have Matt Lipcsak and Jim Craven. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Doing great, Matt. Yourself?
I'm doing good. Thank you for being here. I've been looking forward to having this roundtable. Mr. Craven, how are we doing, sir? Jim, can you hear me? I don't think he can hear us, Matt.
He's muted for sure.
It's,
He's got the. I see
oh,
the red slash across the mic.
gotcha. Come on, Jim, unmute. How you doing, sir? He doesn't see it. Jim,
Jim.
Jim, Jim, can you hear me? I'm gonna message him real quick to everybody so you get to see a little comedy. Uh, Jim, can you hear me? Hold on one sec, everybody. I'll just do this without taking a break. Okay, so Matt, until I think he froze there. So big week for us. First of all, how are the Phantoms doing, Matthew?
So we're still in the preseason. Split the weekend last week with Muskegon by a 3-2 loss on Friday and a 7-1 win on Saturday. Phantoms really started to impose their will in the second period of the Friday game, and that carried on into the third. Unfortunately, couldn't find a way to tie that one up. And then Saturday they scored the first goal 5 minutes in and never looked back. It was 3-1 at the end of the first, 6-1 at the end of the second, and then they ended up winning by that 7-1 final. So, so far their first game against real USHL competition, the boys look like they have some jump. And just, looking forward to continuing the process here. One more week, so 2 more games of preseason hockey to go. We'll be taking on Team USA Friday night in Michigan, and then Saturday, a home preseason game for the Phantoms down at Prince Escape Arena in Canonsburg. And then the week after that, we will do the real thing. Regular season starts on Friday the 19th down in Cranberry against the Tri-City Storm.
Exciting. We hope that they are going to do well this year. I sent Jim a message in private chat. So he's walking his puppies. So I don't think he has enough signal. Let me tell him not a good signal.
I mean, we've got his video. It's a little grainy, but
Yeah, he can't hear us though. That's the only problem.
that would be an issue. Yes, makes it difficult to
Right.
carry on a conversation that way.
Hold on a second here. Yeah, no, he said it. It says that we're offline, but we are on for sure. Let me send him this message real quick. Jim, we are on. Every time we try and bring you in, there's no sound and you're freezing. So we're live. All right, so Matt, we're just going to jump into it, brother, until maybe he can come in.
Cool.
So let me see. Maybe let's try one more time. Jim, can you hear us? Jim? No, he can't hear us. Too bad. I'm going to mute
I'll
him.
say, well, there was the dog.
Yeah, for
His
sure.
his mic's working.
Right. He can't hear us. I don't think he can. He knows that we are. Hold on. Let me tell him. Hey, Jim, we can hear the dog. So I'm talking to you. You can't hear us? Jim? Jim, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna kick him and make him come back in. Normally,
Hey,
Can you hear
hey,
me
there,
now?
there you are.
Can you hear me now? I'm gonna kick him real quick. Normally that works. I'm gonna tell him, "Hey, I kicked you." Normally that works to connect you back. Try one more time. So Matt, let's get into what you and I have going on this week. We're opening up with the here he is. Let me try one more time. Jim, can you hear me? Awesome. Jim
There
Craven,
he is. Hey,
welcome.
Jim.
You know what normally what works here, and I should have done it sooner, is when people are having a problem with connection, when they leave and then come back, it for some reason resets it. So Jim Craven's here from Western Reserve Digital Broadcasting. We all, basically work together on and off here. I worked with Jim at his studio at his station for many years. How's everything going over there, Jim?
It's going. We're almost in full swing here with high school football, and of course, hockey now coming into play with the Phantoms getting their preseason games in. They'll be having the Fall Classic coming up, and then of course, big matchup with Canfield and Poland this Friday. Oh, and
Eh, eh,
Canton Akron Jets. I can't forget them.
I'm
I
sorry I
don't
missed
think your
that.
son would let you.
Oh, that's
No,
right.
yes, the defending state champions are back on the ice starting this weekend. So, yeah, I can't forget them, or I might not be able to go home.
Well, Jim, I bet your pocketbook doesn't let you forget the Canton Akron Jets either.
Oh no, they send me a reminder every month, so they're very kind about that.
Well, Jim calls all the games with his partner, Coach Bob Gessler for Poland High School. Jim, how are the Bulldogs looking this year? What do you think about them?
Solid. The only thing is, I don't think they've been tested yet. I think this week coming up is going to be their hardest test. A 3-0 Canfield, and I look at the matchup, and it's like two mirrored teams facing each other. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a great environment. Tickets are going to sell out, and it's going to be a great night for football weather-wise.
The battle of 224 is always usually a really big game. Canfield took care of the Mooney Cardinals last week. And so we'll be really excited to be getting scores back and forth with you. Matt, as I just mentioned, you and I are opening up uh, conference play this week. Who do you got on your lap there?
This is Alexis. She
Hi,
is
Alexis.
3.5, and the absolute apple of my eye is in as much as she is a ridiculous little troublemaker.
And she's getting big too.
We are getting very big, but we cannot hit buttons on the keyboard while Daddy is working.
That is for sure. That's when things go black. With the game coming up this week, huge game, obviously, with the Rams and the Blue Jays. And just, I'm sure that it will have a little extra oomph with it because of Coach Shaner is now the Blue Jays coach. We had him on earlier, and, new coach here, Andy Hake in Mineral Ridge. Coaches obviously don't go with that kind of stuff, at least maybe not out loud, but the players will definitely be fired up. The Blue Jays 3-0, the Rams 2-1, having a huge game last week, and really coming back and showing what they're made of. What do you think about this week's matchup?
Um, I think, yeah, Brian Shaner's probably going to tell us that yes, it's just another football game. Doesn't mean anything else in the long run. But Brian, come on, who do you expect to believe that?
Right.
You were at Mineral Ridge last year. You took them to the playoffs. For the first time in a long time, and they did really well for a couple of
Mhm.
years. So I think this game probably does mean a little bit extra. And I hope we're going to see a good football game. We're getting back to MVAC action, and the Rams played their best game of the season last week, and I don't know. I think we're primed to see a good game. These two teams have gone down to the wire the last couple of years, and we'll see what happens.
Jim, obviously, it is already week 4, high school football, the fastest 10 weeks in sports, not just football. It's just flying by. What do you think so far about, the high school football season? Who are some of the teams that have jumped out at you?
Oh, certainly. I think Mooney's much improved, even despite their loss last week. I think they're much improved with the new coaching staff and whatever other changes they made over there.
Right.
A little disappointed in Struthers. I know they got hit by graduation horribly. They lost 22 seniors, so they're going to struggle. But South Range, I think, is the surprising one. And I think everybody assumed that they were going to be down a little bit. They took that week 1 loss, which they rarely, if ever, have done in the last decade. But I think they'll bounce back. I think Coach Rock does an excellent job following up and filling those shoes there. So I think you got to get to about week 3, even into week 4, before you really see what these teams are. I take Poland particularly because we see them every week, but I see them getting better. I see the people that they talked about that they were depending on stepping into those roles, and they are really performing well. So again, I think we're in that week now where we're going to see what this team is going to be, whatever team that is.
Hmm.
This is going to be where you're at. Biggest improvements be week 1 to week 2. Week 2, week 3, you're getting into what your group is going to be. Are you a ground team, or are you a passing team? And right now, I think this is going to be a big weekend for a lot of teams. And of course, you have the big matchups like Poland and Canfield. But we're going to see and maybe start to guess where these teams are going to be week 10, even week 11.
Right. I agree with you, Matt. I love your background. I love seeing the Pittsburgh stuff and the hockey sticks. Getting back to the Rams and the Blue Jays, who specifically has really shown you that they are, some of the stars for the Rams this year?
I mean, the obvious and the easy answer is Preston Holbrook.
Mhm.
He's just been a monster on the ground so far. Couple hundred rushing yards to his name, and most of the Mineral Ridge touchdowns, when they've been coming from in close, it's Maryland I and Preston Holbrook, and good luck stopping him. And frankly, not many teams have thus far. Um, so I think Preston Holbrook is definitely at the top of the list. At least on offense. On defense, Thomas Kanowski with his 3 interceptions here through 3 games, being very opportunistic there from his position in the secondary. Hard to discount. 3 interceptions through 3 weeks, especially the as large as those 2 interceptions in the game uh, in week 1, as big as they looked.
Uh, Jim, I'm going to throw it back to you, and then Matt, you can answer this question as well. Obviously, some changes in the OHSAA this year with the playoffs specifically. What do you think about them? Moving back to less teams.
I do like it. If you remember back when you and I were in high school, there were 4 teams in a region that made it,
Yep.
and it became so. It's been so open. It's been so wide in terms of the number of teams. Very rarely are you going to have a 15 or 16 seed winning that, and then they're saying, "Well, we went to the playoffs, and that was an accomplishment." And take nothing away from them on that. That is true. But when you have the 116 matchups, I don't think it's very good for programs. I like what they're doing now. They're getting back to I don't say getting back to. They're getting what the college football was doing now with the bye weeks. The top seeds are taking that week 11 off, so you earn that, and I think that's great. But again, I long for the days a little bit when you and I were there, and we knew 4 teams from the region were going. There was the Moonies, the Ursulines, the Hardings, the Fitches,
Hmm.
but when you start to expand it, I think there's a point where you go too much. And I think they're realizing that, and they're getting back to kind of where they need to be.
I agree. I'm just going to say this real quick, though. And Matt, then we could get your opinion on this. But, I look at hot teams. I look at how the pros usually react in college football. Those teams that usually get a break when they are hot. I don't know, man. There isn't good stat or good, percentages for these guys winning games all the time when they get a week off. I would prefer, if it was me, man, keep playing. But Maddie, what is your opinion on this?
Obviously 16 teams is a lot when you look at the grand scheme of things. I mean, that's 64 teams statewide. Um, it's a lot different from where I grew up in Pennsylvania, where making the playoffs is a lot harder, especially than going into the state playoffs. So, I've had a few years to try to get used to it, and I do kind of like the look of getting down to a little smaller playoff. I honestly wouldn't mind seeing 8, because you never know how those top seeds are going to react to getting a week off. That's a big
Mhm.
part of it too.
Yep.
So, you know, 12 is great, but for me, probably 8 is a better number. But to your other point, Matt, you're cruising there at the end of the season. You do want to keep playing, but computer is the be all end all.
Right. You're right. Good answer. We're going to move from high school football and jump one level up to NCAA. Um, Looking at the first off, I just want to ask you guys, do you guys like the NIL system? Now, Jim, we talked about this last year, but I want to get just an updated opinion on it. And Matt, will throw it to you.
No, I don't like the way it is now. And here's the thing: if you want to give them money, want to let them make money, that's fine. However, when you're in college and there are certain obligations, maybe that money should be put into a trust. You're not running around with $2 million in your pocket as a freshman quarterback coming, up into the college system, and it just seems very odd. And maybe that's the old school in me, where college to me is a privilege to go to. You're given a scholarship. They think the world of you academically and in terms of athletics. But this has turned into now college free agency and how much a team can pay. What did they say that Ohio State paid 22 million last year for their team?
Mm,
And I think that takes away that pureness of that college when money's now coming into tainted, and it always has to some degree. There's always been money involved, whether it be donors, whether it be backers, whatever the situation is. But to stick it out there now, and if you want to give them money, let them put it away. Let it be available when they're done with college, and let them have that college experience that they've had for so many years that have worked. It maybe would eliminate that free agency, where now they're talking about in January letting players choose where they're going to go. Well, there's still bowl games at that point. So
thank you.
they're
Yeah.
so focused on making money and getting to the pros. Guys are sitting out now. It's a bother to me. I really don't like it, but unfortunately, I see it expanding instead of being roped in and more controlled.
And before I give it to you, Matt, I just have to say, as an ex-player in college, man, if I had buddies and teammates that made a commitment to the team and to the the faithful, the people sitting in the stands, and then all of a sudden they leave during the season and say, "I'm going somewhere else," that needs to be changed. They need to make it so you choose to be with the team, you're with them the whole season. You want to leave after the season, that's fine. But I don't dig with this turning your back on your players and leaving. Matt?
Oh,
The
look at
system
look at Cam
sucks.
Ward at the end of his bowl game. He played one half and then went to the line and then sat on the sideline.
Agreed. Libby, Lipper?
The system sucks. That's the beginning, middle, and end of the story. How to fix it, I have no idea. Do they need to put a cap on these, and make it so nobody can earn more than another? I mean, I don't know how great that idea is, because fair free market and all of that. But if everybody's making the same amount of money, then maybe you don't have these guys bouncing all over the place and letting their services go to the highest bidder. But Jim, your idea of a trust isn't bad, but I guess part of the point is the guys need some walking around money too, and then it's just the whole thing, it stinks. It needs fixed. There are a lot of smarter people out there than me that need to get to work on it.
So looking at the season that has, just barely started, we already are getting a view of some of the cream of the crop. Obviously, things are going to change wildly as the season goes on. But, Jim, who is jumping out at you right now as some of the teams that look like they'll end up in the playoff at the end of the year?
Obviously got to talk about number one Ohio State. I wasn't real sure what they were going to get in Julian saying, but he has been a good manager. I don't think he's been outstanding, but I think he's been a good manager. But he will get better. And there's a lot of talent around him. The run game is a little bit weaker than I thought, but defensively, with Matt Patricia running that, that has been absolutely incredible. And I really don't take the game last week and it's 70-0. That's a game that should have been 70-0, but. I'm looking forward to the Ohio State Penn State matchup coming up later. I think that's going to determine a lot. And I think for the top 8, 10 teams, those are the ones you're going to see. I don't think there's going to be too much change, but hopefully we'll see a good upset Saturday somewhere along the line because I know we all love that. Except for Ohio State, I don't want them to lose.
Matt?
Yeah, I think, at least Ohio State is doing what they can to try to differentiate themselves from the rest of the top 5 or the top 10. Obviously, a big week 1 win against Texas. Penn State hasn't shown much, but they haven't had to show much because they haven't really played anybody as of yet. So, I think unless something goes extremely awry, yes, Ohio State and Penn State are both going to be there at the end. Who else from the Big Ten are we going to see? Another 4 or 5 teams from the Big Ten make the playoff? I hope not. I'd like to see it spread out a little bit, but it's certainly a possibility. You look around, down south, and those teams are already starting to beat each other up. So it's really just a question of who is going to be there at the end.
I agree. I have a question for you guys. There's a coaching carousel and stability going on. The ACC is experiencing one of the most turbulent periods in program leadership. The 2025-2026 season marks the second straight year with 4 new head coaches, with 13 coaching changes in the last 4 seasons alone. Does frequent coaching turnover hurt program identity, or can hires like Adrian Autry of Syracuse and Jai Lucas in Miami inject new life quickly? Jim?
Yeah, I don't understand how you go into somebody's home, recruit them, and then a year you leave. I think it's nothing. None of that is good for college football. You want a young guy to commit to 3 to 5 years on your team. You walk in there, we're going to promise you the world. We're the new flavor of the month, and then oh well, I got called up, and I'm going to go somewhere else, and I'm going to make all this money. Well, I don't know how much money you need to make in college football, but and don't get me wrong, if I'm tempted, I may do it too. But from a program standpoint, I think it takes away stability. I don't think you're going to get the commitment like you did before. I see these guys on TV and they're picking hats, and I'm going to go here. Then a year they're
Mhm.
transferring. It just, I think all the teams, especially in the FBS, top 25, top 30, they're losing all of their identities because now we've got teams with 60 new players on it, and that's been unheard of. You want to develop your own players. You want them to come along. You want their junior and senior year to be productive. But they say, well, I'm being offered more at Florida State than I am Notre Dame, which I think you're insane if you leave Notre Dame anyway. But that is happening. So the whole identity of college football is changing. It's just becoming the NFL's minor league in
Mhm.
terms of money and free agency.
Matt?
I agree with absolutely everything that Jim said. The coaching carousel, coaches, committing and then leaving for the next best offer, is terrible. Like Jim said, there's no program stability. You shouldn't be able to recruit. How can you recruit like that? But I guess by the same token, these guys are entering the transfer portal if they don't like their playing time and their situation, this, that, or the other thing after 1 year anyway. So, a lot of the things that make college football great are really getting ruined by money, basically. And that I don't know how else to put it. It's not great for the sport, but I also think we're going to start seeing, the quality of play drop off too, because how is somebody supposed to develop if they don't have any stable and consistent messaging when they're bouncing from school to school every year?
Both great answers to it. And I just saw this, guys. A proposal is on the table to shift the winter transfer portal opening from December to January, aiming to reduce end of year calendar congestion, just like I was talking about, but prompting backlash from coaches like, of course, they mention Ohio State's head coach, Ryan Day. So we already talked about that. But do you guys think that changing that from December to January would level the playing field for playoff teams, or do you think it would create more headaches for coaches?
Well, I guess the question is, are they allowing them to transfer in December to play for another team? I don't quite understand where they're going with that. But from what it sounds like is you're going into bowl season, players are leaving, and it makes me believe that they should use more money to research CTE and the administration than they should the field.
Hmm.
You got players who are going to get up in December and leave. Well, I mean, what are they going to do for the other team? They haven't been there. Or, if they do transfer, even if they're not playing, are they still eligible to play with the team that they're on? You get this idea sometimes that the sole focus is just to destroy college football, and again, turn it into a minor league NFL system, which it's been for years, minus the money. I mean, it's always been that. That's where you get drafted from. I feel like there's a lot of concussions in the NCAA right now, and there's a study that needs to be done because these are the most ridiculous things that I've ever heard.
Agreed. Matt, you just quick thoughts on that?
Yeah, again, Jim's not missing right now. The the transfer portal absolutely needs to be pushed till after the season. I don't care about spring practices and spring programs and spring enrollment. I don't care about any of it. Your programs are absolutely being hurt by people electing to go into the transfer portal when the season is still going. You know what Penn State, had a little bit of a dual threat going at quarterback last year. I can't remember the backup's name. I think he ended up transferring to Missouri. He left in the middle of the playoffs because he wanted to make sure that he got a spot for the next year before, all of the better quarterbacking positions were filled by the teams that were looking for quarterbacks in the portal. So I mean, I think that's just a prime example of, you know, the transfer portal and free agency and everything, just messing with things that shouldn't be.
Good answer, guys. So before we go, Jim, you want to let everybody know if they want to check out the battle on 224, what can they do to see that game or listen? We lost him
We
again.
Well,
lost
I
him
would
again.
have to get a
Up there.
ticket, but they may have. I'm not sure. Uh-oh.
You're
Am I
good
here?
now.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
Anyway, if encourage
Just
people
a
to come
minute,
out
sweetheart.
to see the game, but tickets are sold out. But you can always listen to the game on Western Reserve Radio, WRQX AM 600, starting at 6:35 pregame. Bob Gesser and I, Dave Ferris pushing the buttons back here at the studio for me, and hoping, little biased here, that the Bowling Bulldogs will come out 4-0, and then they will have to travel to Hubbard to take on Dave Ferris and Mark Means' Hubbard Eagles.
Nice. Good luck in your games. Of course, you guys will be exchanging scores as we go. Matt, I'll let you. What do you want to? What can you do to let everybody know about hearing the Ridge and the Blue Jays? I wonder what you're going to say.
So you can catch the Mineral Ridge Tire and Auto Ram Football Game of the Week here on Tri County Digital Broadcast. It's going to be streaming right here on YouTube and on Facebook, which is brought to you again by Mineral Ridge Tire and Automotive and Just Football with Matt Emch. And then on Saturday, you can tune into Western Reserve Radio and catch Youngstown fans preseason action from Printscape Arena down in Canonsburg. Phantoms taking on Team USA. Puck drops at 6 p.m. and pregame show starts at 5:40. And of course, Matt, you and I are going on the air at about 6:40 on Friday night for the pregame show before the Blue Jays and the Rams.
We will. It is exciting for us to be calling games this weekend with conference play opening. Matt, Jim, thank you so much for coming, guys. We'll see you again this upcoming season.
Take it easy, fellas.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Yep, it was fun. Thanks, Matt.
Absolutely. Everybody, we will be right back. We're going to have Coach Andy Hake join us, and we are excited to hear it, and we will be shutting it down. But before we shut it down, after Coach Hake comes, we are going to get a little personal view of mine on the situation at my alma mater, Ursuline High School. So if you want to wait and check that one out, not looking forward to it, but I got to give my opinion. We'll be back, everybody. Looking for an electrician you can trust? For over 49 years, W.T. Leone's Tri-Area Electric Company, Inc. has proudly served Mahoning, Trumbull, Columbiana, Mercer, and Lawrence counties. We're family and locally owned, offering free estimates, and we're fully bonded and insured. Whether it's commercial, residential, or industrial, our team has got you covered day or night with 24-hour emergency service. Call us today at 330-744-0151 or visit triareaelectric.com. That's Tri-Area Electric, keeping your home and business powered safely since 1976.
There are things in this world that we cannot understand. Things we thought were myth. Mysteries that defy reality. And even darker conspiracies. What Lurks Beneath will take you deep into real cases and accounts of the strange and supernatural that will leave you wondering the truth about what's truly around us. You won't want to miss this one.
In today's world, video isn't optional, it's essential. At Full Res Films, we bring your story to life with cinematic quality and creative vision. From corporate videos that inspire, to powerful testimonials that build trust, to breathtaking drone footage that elevates your brand. Whether it's live events, training videos, music videos, or documentaries, our team captures every moment. Don't settle for ordinary, choose Full Res Films, and let's create something amazing together. FullResFilms.com, 216-201-9649.
Planet 412 is your channel through the veil, where cryptids walk, UFOs soar, and the paranormal whispers in the dark. From chilling storytelling, eerie narrations, and on-location investigations, to live streams, exclusive interviews, and shocking reviews of the bizarre, Planet 412 is your front row seat to the supernatural. Subscribe now, Planet 412 on YouTube. Do you believe? Rams feature twirler Amira, you're literally on fire and we love it. Go show them how it's done. Welcome back to Just Football with Matt Emch, brought to you by Tri-County Digital Broadcasting. We are going to bring Rams head coach Andy Hake in. He is patiently waiting for us. Coach Hake, how are you? Still muted there, Coach. You hear me, Coach? I do not hear you. We know how to do this one, Coach. If you pop back out.
I got you.
Yeah, there we
me?
go. Great.
You hear me?
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm kind of rocked like the rest of the country. I'm a big fan of Charlie Kirk, and that was very tormenting to me today to hear that news.
I'm sorry, Coach. I'm not aware. Could you fill me
they
in?
killed. Somebody assassinated Charlie Kirk today.
Oh man!
And Turning Point USA. He's a conservative think tank. He started for the youth of America, and he was assassinated. And it's just really disturbing to me. Really disturbing. I like Charlie Kirk a lot, and I don't want anybody killing anybody. You know what I mean? I'm not like, but I'm with the country. I'm 100% with the country. I know this is sports talk, but I'm with the country, and that's senseless. And I just found out about that. It's like senseless. You'll see soon because he's just a real conservative young man that's represents the country, and he goes to college campuses and invites people to debate him in a very dignified manner. And he was shot today and killed in Utah.
Oh my god, and you know what? I just brought it up on my phone. I know who he is,
Oh, he's a
and,
heck of a. I've met him. All. He's a heck of a guy. You
how
know.
absolutely horrible, our condolences go
Yeah.
out to
No.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
family.
It's just crazy. But
Oh,
I know. I
man,
know. I know this is sports talk. But you know what?
no.
Life is important, and
Yes.
our country is important. And talking about people, people that defend veterans in the country and core beliefs of America are attacked now. We're attacked because I'm one of them. I get attacked because I believe in things, and I'm going to teach them, and I'm going to teach about these things, our core beliefs of America, country, family, God. And if people don't like it, that's just crazy though, because that's just insane. Our program is taught. We talk about country and God. We do the
Yeah,
Lord's Prayer. Damn it! And if people don't like that, go get another coach because I'm going to do that. And that's just how
yeah,
it is. Because your kids play for you harder when you have core beliefs. And if
absolutely.
and your kids, when you talk about things that matter to the children, veterans, family, country, the community, the school, people that came before you, history, great American
Yeah,
culture. It matters, and the
it
people that don't
does.
understand those things, uh, it's very bothersome to me. And it's just life. I know that's life, but wow, tragic killing. And
Well, that shouldn't be happening in America, man. That
no, on
is
either side, we're so divided. I teach history. I bet we haven't been this divided since the Civil War or the Civil Rights Movement. We haven't been this divided.
I agree. I agree, Andy. It's a shame. And where I went to high school and college, when I was playing at YSU, we prayed. So I agree with you, and
I don't ever see what's wrong with that either. I
I
never
don't
see
either.
the Lord's Prayer, moment of silence, putting your hand on your heart, doing the Pledge of Allegiance, one
Yep.
nation under God. It's just, I don't understand the mentality of people that, what, I always felt America was majority rules, but you have minority rights. So if people don't want to do those things, that's fine. They don't have to stand for the pledge or for the moment of silence, Lord's Prayer. If you don't want to do that, it's fine. But there's a lot of people that do believe in that,
Yep.
and that aren't heathens, and they want to believe in and that. And that's very bothersome. But anyway, I digress. How's everything going, man? How's everything going?
It's going good. And just to say this real quick, we got people in the chat and they're making comments and people saying they agree with you. Logan Arnold said, Coach Hake, I agree with you. He was so young and so very sad. I feel for his family.
Sure.
And he also said, the shooter is a coward. Absolutely. An Unreal Estate agent said, um, talk is always just talk. Why harm any for just talk? And that was a good point. We when we're getting ready for our games for calling the Mineral Ridge games, me and my partner stand. We take our hats off, hand over the heart, hand behind
Got
the
that
back.
right.
So that and it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, because you should just honor the country that you're in. BJ Lapierre actually, she said, I don't care what political party you belong to or how your beliefs differ. There is no reason to unalive another person for no good reason. Tragedy for sure with the
She's
shooting.
right.
Definitely a
Yes.
coward. So let's get past this at least for a little bit. Coach
Sure.
Hake,
No, I get
uh,
it.
and thank you for talking about it. I agree with you 100%. It's a horrible, horrible moment for our country, regardless of what aisle you sit on. Um, I feel for his family.
Sure.
Getting into this week, we have a monster game here Friday at Mineral Ridge. Conference play opens with the Jackson Milton Blue Jays. At practice this week, is there a change of feel with the team and the coaches about this game coming?
League play starts. You know what I mean? And we had a great practice today and yesterday. We really got on the kids. Um, our kids allow us to coach them, because of the things we just talked about. I'm not kidding you when I say that. I mean it. The kids recognize these guys are radical guys for the country and for the school and for the community. And we love football, but we love football because it allows us to teach young people about being good citizens, being good workers, loving your family, loving the country. Um, and I think that I think high school football is it's the last piece left of American society in which we can still be this certain thing that we hold value, this one thing. And I don't want to say football is the only thing because there's other things, but
Mm-hmm.
football is one of the things where you can really talk to young men about being tough, about when times get tough and things aren't going your way, how do you react when it hurts and you're getting your apple kicked? How do you react? And then how do you react when you're kicking someone's apple? You have to act right and be humble and have respect for people. And I just think there's so much that you learn more on a football field than you ever learn in most settings. I don't want to say ever you learn in a classroom because that's not true, but I think it's so important what you learn in football. And we're gunned up to start this league play, and the kids, having having the situation what it is. They're not, I have a lot of respect for Brian Shaner, and the kids do too. The kids aren't saying the kid. You know what? Kids say, hey, we hope, they're happy for him having success at
Mm-hmm.
Jackson. But hey, we're going to try to beat them on Friday, and then hopefully they win the rest of their games. So that's good for us. So, but yeah, we're really focused on the right things. Mineral Ridge getting better, and and working on ourselves.
Looking at the Blue Jays offensively,
Yes.
which players and what type of play are you guys not looking forward to dealing with this week?
Well, they have a nice, really good quarterback, McDevitt, and he's really good with the ball in his hands. He's a runner. He can throw the ball. They use an H back. They go three wide, and they use an H back as like a fullback to kick out and pull. And they have a one back that's tough. Osborne, number 2. Number 24 is tough too, but Osborne, number 2, I think is a particularly tough kid. I think he had 100 tackles last year on defense. He's a linebacker. But I think the quarterback is their best weapon, and number 16 is a really good wide receiver. He's a senior. His name slips me, but he's a really good player, 16. I just think we have to really concentrate on guys um, executing their assignments on defense. Try not to get caught up doing other things. Execute your assignment. Um, our front six got to play the run real tough. Um, but I'm really excited for the kids because, again, you're starting league play.
Right.
Football is such a precious thing because you only play 10 games, and you only get a Friday. You have an opportunity for 2 hours, 2.5 hours to show everybody what you've been doing that week, and
Mm-hmm.
nobody watches practice. And you know what? There's all these teams out there that are 0-3 and 1-2, and they're practicing like hell too. Things just
Yep.
didn't work out for them. So you know what? Friday night special. You have an opportunity to show everybody what the work you put in, and salute to all the teams that just don't have the guys, and they're doing all that work too. And things just aren't working out for them.
Well, luckily for the Rams, I mean, you guys have got almost 80 players. Congratulations on doing, that's hats off to you and your staff coach for getting that many kids to come out and play. I know there's a couple kids that I know that said they weren't going to play. And one of them's one of your linemen. I was on him, man. You got to play. You're huge. I'm not going to mention his name and embarrass him,
Yeah.
but he's out. He's playing, and I'm glad he is. I'll ask you about him in private another time. Real quick, flipping the side of the ball, dealing with the defense. Who are some of the players that jump out at you as players you need to get a hat on a hat and block them so they don't cause issues offensively?
Well, they're running a 4-4 scheme, and I believe they're gonna. There's times they have one linebacker in the middle, but I don't think they're gonna do that to us. I think
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna keep everybody in there and gonna try to stop our run. If you watched us up to this point, you would say stop Middle Ridge's run. And we are capable of throwing, and we've been working on play action passes and a lot of spread passing too. But I knew the first three games, if we were really wanted to, we're really trying to change the culture here to be tough, run oriented, build a program that's when we don't have all these kids, the kids can be tough and hang in there. And we had to run the ball, so we had to come out running the ball. We're gonna work. We're working on passing and getting better at that, and we can do that. And as the season progresses, I think people are going to see that we have a nice passing game. But it's something that's a work in progress, and the kids bought into wanting to run the ball, and I think that's a real mentality. That's if you're going to have a really good program in high school football, especially small school, it has to be run identity. I've
Mm-hmm.
been doing this a long time, and I don't see anybody that has a sustained program that says, "Oh, we're going to pass first." Maybe Dover, maybe I don't. Kenton did it for a long time with the mock, but then they started falling off. You have to be able to run the football, and if you're going to run the football and stop the run, that's where you're going to have your most success, and that's where you're going to have sustained success. Look at McDonald. Look at South Range. Look at the teams that have always been around, always been there. They're running the football, and even if they have a down year, their program sees it through because they're able to run the ball. So we need to be able to do that, and that's our identity we want to have.
And we're losing light on you. You're outside, but I just wanted to mention uh, last week how impressive Ethan Daly was
Yeah, Delhi
running
Vitale.
the
Yeah,
ball. Man, how dangerous he has made your offense when you're just going to have the quarterback, run the ball. They could not stop him, but you have a two-headed monster at quarterback, so definitely a blessing.
yeah, we're really lucky. Landon Bingham is a senior, and he's done all the right things in the off season, and protecting the football and getting first downs is what he's supposed to do, and he can throw the ball. There's no doubt, but Delhi has added another element of running, and he can sure throw the ball. I just, he's been a real threat running at this point. When he runs hard. And I think that things are going to progress. You're going to see Preston Klein come on. He's a good young quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to come on. Cannon Conway's a tremendous player. He's a freshman. Our program is in good shape. We have a quarterback in every grade, and we're going to utilize the guys. And it might take a while to get everybody involved, but we're going to get them better.
I love it. We're excited to see how you guys progress. We have some people in the chat. Logan Arnold just want to ask you, and we just have time for one question. He says, "How does a coach know?" He's not a football guy. I just wanted to say this. How does a coach know what play to use, or is it an educated guess? Obviously, we know the answer to that, but Logan would like to know. Oh,
You know
we
what?
lost. There you go.
Your
Up.
plan, you're planning. Are you there?
Yeah, you just connected. You're good.
I just think a lot of it is you're planning, and when you're planning, you want to see where you want to attack, and what their weaknesses are and your strengths, and then you got to counterpunch when people are doing things um, to you to stop, or to stop what you're doing, and the counterpunch, and sometimes you're lucky and sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're playing personnel. You know, a lot of football is matchups. You know that. You
Yep.
might be a good running team, but boy, they have a stout up front. And you have to throw the ball. So
Hmm.
you got to play your strengths and also their weaknesses, and it's opposite sometimes. And you have to be smart, and sometimes you got to be lucky. You need a turnover here and there, and
Hmm.
I think it's planning, but I also think it's motivating young people to give their best effort. I think that's looked past so much. It's not the Jimmies and Joe. It's not the X's and O's. It's the Jimmies and Joes. And if you have good players, that's great. But you got to motivate guys to play like hell, and
Yep.
that's the difference. You got to get guys to play, and there's no substitution for that. You could break your arm and cast it. You can cut your leg and throw a band-aid on it, but there's no prosthetic for not having a heart. You got to have heart, and you got to utilize guys and motivate them and tell them how much you love them and how important they are. And even if they're not a starter, they're important to you, and they're important to the program that they're out, because it's not the all-star players that make high school football. It's the guys that don't get recognized, because there's a lot more guys that don't get recognized that bust their apples every day,
Yep.
that really care and buy into team and buy into community and buy into the things you're talking about, that allow your star players to really excel. So I guess to answer that question, it's studying film and trying to really find out about your players and their players, and then the counter punch when they stop you.
Absolutely. He said, thank you. That makes sense. Coach, before we let you go, real quick, we always do this. Quick message to all the Mineral Ridge faithful. What would you want to say to them about this Friday? Up,
Forward and put their you there?
you're there now. Go ahead, restart.
Put our best foot forward and put their children in positions to have success. The people want it. I know they really want to win, and they want our kids to do well. And you can see with the crowd size, they're really behind us.
Hmm.
So we just want to put a great product out there for that 2.5 hour window that they can be really proud of.
Absolutely. Coach Hake, thank you so much. Good luck this Friday against Jackson Milton. We'll see you then.
Now,
God bless you. Go Rams. All right. That was Coach Hake from Mineral Ridge. Uh, Let me shut this off real quick. I wanted to end the live stream here. I'm getting ready to go on my other channel, uh, Planet 412. I got some of my faithful here in the uh, chat. We have a good guest tonight there, guys. Just to let you know, if you guys are interested in supernatural, cryptids, mysterious and strange, head over to Planet 412 on YouTube, and hopefully we can fill that need of that special thing that I am definitely filled with, is that and football. I wanted to end the show tonight with commenting on what's going on at my alma mater in Ursuline. And I made a decision. Um, I'm not going to go into that. I'm going to do actually a whole video on that. And I think there's too much to talk about. I just wanted to say this one thing to everybody who's going to see this video, and those that are really, just ripping down the Ursuline Irish and the history. Has a great, proud history. What just happened is only something new that has never happened, that never went on when I was there. There was never hazing. There was never negative things like that. And just recently, it wasn't going on. This is something that is brand new with a very small group of people, and some really bad things happened, and it's going to get dealt with. But please don't rip down everything the school has stood for over 100 years, and all those kids on the football team right now that have worked their butts off, that had nothing to do with it, the cheerleaders, the band, everybody that does so much every season is suffering from that right now. Just remember that not everybody was involved in that. And like I said, I'm going to actually release a whole video on what I think and how I feel, and different things like that. So I'll let you guys know about it. Everybody, thank you for being here tonight. Thank you to all the coaches, to Steve Arnold, to Andy Hake, to Brian Shaner. Thank you to my partner, Matt Lipcsak, and to Jim Craven, guys, and also to Eric Ungaro for the pre recorded interview earlier today. Good luck to everybody this weekend, and we will see you Friday pregame at Mineral Ridge Field. Easy Whitaker, the Joe Lane Sports Complex in Mineral Ridge, when Ridge opens up conference play and takes on ex-coach Brian Shaner and the Jackson Mountain Blue Jays. Thank you, everybody, for being here. You are watching Just Football with Matt Emch on also Tri-County Digital Broadcasting. Thanks, guys. We'll see ya.